Hi equestrians, welcome to the Calibo Yoga podcast, connecting horses to yoga. Today we're going to be talking about the Root Chakra, but before we get into it, if you can subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on notifications so that you get an update every time a video uploads, that would greatly help me out. And I absolutely appreciate it as I am working to grow the Calibo Yoga community here on YouTube. Now let's get into the root chakra, but let's start talking about chakras themselves. Chakras in yoga philosophy are energy centers throughout the body. There are 7 of them, and they run along the middle or the midline of the body, particularly along the spine. The idea that chakras are energy centers also allows for there to be a flow of energy through the body. Chakras can be balanced or unbalanced. When there are unbalanced chakras in the body, oftentimes it's believed that the energy flow is blocked at that center and different difficulties will arise in your life. So every chakra has a different meaning, a different color, a different element, sound, and attributes to it. Getting into the root chakra, the color often represented is red. And the root chakra is located at the base of the pelvic bowl. So it is essentially between your legs, and then the energy often flows down through your legs into the feet and essentially helps ground you, which you'll notice will be really fundamental to what the root chakra does for you. The root chakra's attributes include sense of security, self-acceptance. It's related to survival. And oftentimes the root chakra has this grounded nature to it when it's in balance. When the root chakra is not in balance, and you can either have excessive root chakra energy or deficient root chakra energy, and the interactions with the body, depending upon the type of blockage or amount you are connected to the root chakra, is essentially on a spectrum. So you may feel really resistant to change on one end, and then you may feel really resistant to structure on the other, depending upon if you are finding yourself with excess connection to the root chakra or deficient connection to the root chakra. And it's on this, like I said, it's on the spectrum where you might find yourself in a really extreme end, or maybe you're just a little bit off and you start to notice that something just feels off. You might be having difficulty because you're extra connected to materialistic things or working rather than rest. Or you might be feeling really unfocused and not able to feel secure with a goal, with a type of work that you're doing, whatever the situation may be. Now, the root chakra relates to equestrians in both simple ways and very obscure ways. So to start, let's start simple. Based upon where the root chakra is located in our bodies, it is actually the way we connect with our horses when we're riding them. So we are seated on our horses most of the time, unless maybe you're a trick rider or you're doing some fancy movement. But we have saddles, whether English or Western, that are set up for our pelvic bowl to be in the saddle, and we ride with our weight fluctuating towards the front or the back. And then we also connect with our horses through our legs. This is where we connect without use of any sort of tack. So the idea of like we're connecting to our horse with our hands, but that's through reins that are connected to the bit. It's not a direct contact. But through our legs and our seat, we're finding direct contact and connection to our horse. So the idea that security is a very big piece of the root chakra, and feeling secure in the saddle relates, for most riders, it relates to how well we feel connected to the saddle, and for lack of a better analogy, like feeling like we could stick it out if something happened because we can get down and around our horse. So in a very simplistic way, the root chakra connects to riders because of how we ride our horses and what our body looks like in the saddle. Then if you're moving into secure ways, with the root chakra related to self-acceptance and security in the self and who we are, that's connected to our skill set as a rider and our security in the skill set we have. So it's not that to have a fully balanced root chakra, you need to be an expert of something in the horse world. You have to be a trainer, you have to be a vet, whatever it may be. It's the idea that you can be secure in your skill set or your knowledge base, even if that's as an amateur rider, an at-home equestrian, and anywhere else on the spectrum. Everyone's still learning, but understanding and finding security in who you are and your skill set is where you'll find your balanced root chakra. So for me, I have had my horse in my care for the last 4 years. He was retired when I was 16 years old, and I work with vets and body workers, but I'm no longer working with a trainer because he's retired. So for me, I know that I probably know a little bit more than people, say, in a training program who have never had a horse at home when they're doing the day in and day out care and managing everything from, taking vet calls, ordering grain and medicine and getting all that figured out, which can be a lot. I might know more than the person that's been in a lesson program their whole life as the person who just started learning, but I also know that I don't know everything about how to train a horse or how to teach someone else to ride. Could I probably do this on some level? Yes, but I would never market myself saying I was a trainer or an expert equestrian because that's not what my life has led to for me to have that knowledge base. So I feel quite secure in saying I'm an at-home equestrian, I am the sole person responsible for my horse, and there is a knowledge base that comes with that. But the caveat is, if you ask me for advice, I will say, I'm not a professional, I would ask your trainer or ask your vet, but here's what I've seen in my life with the horses I've had. So that's the idea of the root chakra and the security and the self-identity. The way to better connect with your root chakra, there's a lot of ways, but starting with yoga asana or the yoga postures, balancing postures as well as lunging postures. So for balancing, that would be tree or eagle, and for lunging, think about the warrior 1 through 3 tend to be the main ones. There are others and different modifications. But the idea and why I love that these postures are connected to the root chakra is it's showing that there is power in your legs giving you security. Think about why balancing postures are difficult. Oftentimes you're on one leg, maybe on the ball of a foot versus the whole foot, and you're trying to find this equilibrium within your body. Well, by practicing balancing postures, you are teaching your body that you are safe and secure and that your body has your back, but it's through your legs. So that's the extension of the root chakra. Then you have other postures that are hip openers, and you're releasing the energy flow, and it may be blocked in the root chakra. So you'll have poses such as frog or horse pose, which I absolutely love that as an equestrian, I get to say the root chakra is connected to horse pose. It's beautiful and I love it. Horse pose is also known as goddess pose. So if you're familiar with yoga and you've heard goddess pose, they are very similar. The hand placement is different. So those are the yoga asanas that connect to the root chakra. If you're thinking about the yoga philosophy that connects to the root chakra, we need to understand that the key characteristic of a balanced root chakra is acceptance and being able to practice acceptance. So moving through yoga philosophy, almost all yoga philosophy ties back to feeling secure in oneself because of the connection or the union between mind and body, which is the definition of yoga. One of the biggest pieces of yoga philosophy that comes to mind when I think of the root chakra is santosha, or contentment. And this idea of being content in who you are allows you to have a level of self-acceptance no matter what happens. Is you might say, oh, that wasn't my best choice, that wasn't my best ride, whatever the situation may be that maybe wasn't your best, but you can say, I've had other really good days, and just that one bad thing doesn't make me a bad person. Instead, you can show yourself loving acceptance and kindness through the idea of Santosha. So I want to end by giving you a few questions to ask yourself if the root chakra is speaking to you and you're going, I think I need to do a little work on this. So first, I want you to ask yourself how in tune you are with yourself as an equestrian. And we're going to really zero in here on your life in the barn aisle or as you're thinking about your horse, not including who you are outside of the barn aisle. So your work, your roles, and obviously if your work is the barn aisle, this question will kind of bring work into it. But letting go of the roles you hold as a person, your other animals, your other responsibilities, and just focusing on how in tune you are with yourself when you are at the barn, working with your horse, doing chores, whatever it may be. So just reflect. How do you feel connected to the energies within you as you're moving? Or maybe do you need to bring yourself back into a connection because you're a little disconnected? The next thing I want you to ask yourself regards acceptance, and acceptance for the good rides and the bad rides. Just take note if it's easier for you to accept the good rides than the bad rides. And then maybe ask yourself, how could I practice more acceptance for who I am as an equestrian? This is no perfect practice. These journal prompts or thought prompts are not the only ones out there. You could definitely Google and ask for different journal prompts based on acceptance, but I really wanted to give you a few that were basic enough, broad enough that you could take pen to paper and just flow and see what comes out. So today was all about the root chakra. If you would like me to go through all 7 chakras within the body and how they connect to equestrians, please let me know in the comments down below. And as we reach the end of our video, please stay tuned for this Friday's yoga flow, which will also be about the root chakra, and we'll be taking in some of those poses that I talked about earlier today and using them in the asana practice to better connect to our root chakras. While you're at it, please visit caliboyoga.com and subscribe to the newsletter. That way, every Monday morning, you get an idea of what content will be posted that week, as well as what's going on behind the scenes so that you can get the first knowledge of everything new coming to Calibo Yoga. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching. Bye.